Tuesday, have you ever felt that you are being watched? Like somebody's taking time out of their day just to spy on you? Like you're being stalked? Let's just say I've been closing my window a lot more than I've been opening it lately. It's been happening a lot lately, ever since the start of the school year. Maybe some older kids are planning on robbing me. Honestly, I have no idea. All I can say is that this ordeal was creeping me out. Thursday, either somebody in my house is doing sporadic cleaning or my stuff is straight up gone missing. This morning, mom asked me to remind her to go grocery shopping later, so as per usual, I threw my dirty underwear across the room to help me remember. I kid you not, I went to go eat breakfast, and when I returned 10 minutes later, my underwear was gone. That's the third time this week that this has happened. It's kind of inconsequential, but I feel like I'm being messed with here. I don't know what to make of it. Thursday. You know those scenes in movies where a massive plot point is unintentionally revealed to the main characters through casual conversation? You know, Greg, you're allowed to invite your friends inside the house. Oh, damn, man, you grew. I don't understand. I'm talking about the person you were speaking to through the window earlier. What else? I almost vomited. You could accurately pinpoint the moment when my blood pressure hit the freaking roof. Shoot, I already knew something was up. Now I have even more paranoia than before. Friday, I woke up in the middle of the night. Had to shut my window again. It was making the room too cold. I was pretty sure I closed it before I went to bed. You know, I don't usually sweat when I write. When I went to turn on the lights, I heard a rustling behind me, and I heard my window pop. There was something moving in my pitch black room. That's when I saw a face. I think peering inside. I sort of stood in shock. When I went to check, whatever I saw was long gone. When I realized I wasn't dreaming, I completely froze. It was inside my room while I was sleeping. What in the heck were they doing? I'm almost 17, yet the thought of a face popping up in front of my window to stare at me in my sleep had me feeling as vulnerable as a little kid. I miss the days when I only had fictional horrors to deal with. I spent the next 2 hours looking out my window just in case whatever I saw returned. You want to know the scariest part? The lock on the window was not only broken, it was pried off from the outside through sheer force. I got out of there immediately, ended up going into Roderick's room and grabbing his hunting rifle. Either way, had no plans on returning, so I ended up staying in the basement. Honestly, it was the best sleep I'd gotten in weeks. Now we got that little rifle on his... Oh, yeah, that's just never mind. When I returned to my room in the morning, I expected it to be ransacked. Luckily, everything was left completely untouched. Well, I'd been harassed, burglarized, and trespassed upon, but with zero proof of anything. I couldn't exactly run to the police. I thought about seeking help from my family, but I didn't want to risk endangering them, so I resorted to the next best form of help: friends. I'm trying to tell you, my life is in danger, man. Damn, bro, that's crazy. But who asked? My body ends up all sliced up and in the ditch. I swear that I will haunt that damn school. Faithfully, there was one person who offered to help. She told me that we'd meet at 7. Well, it's starting to become dark, so I'm gonna head out. Good thing it's Friday. I ended up heading out around 8:30. The place wasn't that far, so I thought I might as well walk there. Besides, I could save on getting gas. Or mistake that was. The longer I walked, the more I realized how much more vulnerable I was, all alone in the dark and quiet streets of Plainview. It wasn't bad while I was in the more populated suburban areas, but as I found myself in the heavily forested outskirts of town, I slapped myself for not deciding to drive. I was 10 minutes out of town when all of a sudden it became way too quiet. Word of advice, don't be caught in the middle of a forest by yourself. Your mind plays tricks on you over time. Damn, this guy's in like flipping Undertale or some shit. It didn't take long for me to reach my destination, but I felt like I was being tailed the whole time. Keep in mind that the window incident had just happened last night. I felt like I was walking into a trap. It was midnight, but strangely, I felt calm. Here it was, the address I was given, a clearing in the middle of the damn woods. Now, this may all seem like a terrible idea, but hear me out. First of all, I lied when I said only one person offered to help, because somebody else came to me first. Say hello to my longtime partner in crime, my mentor and senior, my ride or die, the girl I've been forced to neglect in writing, Angie Stedman. By the way, we're not dating. I'm pretty sure she has a boyfriend. I've never seen him though. Anyways, literally minutes after I began telling others at school, she immediately texted me, acting like she already knew the whole story. Yo, I got something I need help with. I heard you're getting stalked. Hit me up before you do anything dumb, Greg. How? You know everything, don't you, lol? I don't know everything. I just know what I know. It was just after lunch when I found out a note in my locker. Angie immediately identified it as a girl's note, a note offering to meet at a secluded location in order to plan a course of action. I'm sure Angie noticed the irony. I really didn't want to do it, but Angie was completely adamant about making me go meet that girl. If anything went wrong, she'd know where to find my body, she joked. I didn't find that very funny, but I agreed to do it. I hid behind a good vantage point and immediately texted the girl, telling her I was 5 minutes away. The entire investigation hinged on whether she showed up or not. In Angie's mind, if the girl did show up, she was suspect. If she didn't, she was clear. Simple as. Somebody did show up. Holy crap. The mad gal actually came. I didn't know what to do. Should I leave? Should I actually meet her, as initially intended? Well, she just waited. I expected her to set up an ambush for me or something, but nothing happened. Was she actually waiting for me? Only it got more awkward as time went on. 10 minutes went by. She was still there. Well, there was only one thing to do, and that was to go out and say hello. I stepped out of my hiding spot. Without even turning, the girl began to talk. It took you long enough to show yourself, Greg Heffley. And we both know what we're here for. You found me, and I found you. Now I'm only going to say this once. I like you, and I want you. We can either do this the easy way or the hard way. The choice is yours. So much for saying hello. Excuse me, who are you? She turned around, but I still couldn't see her face. Have you been the one messing with me? Why? Because I want you, Greg Heffley. Now come with me peacefully or else. What the flip? I actually laughed when I heard this. It was just so blunt. And she threw something. She threw something at me. It was the face. You remember that, Greg? I know where you live. Don't play with a girl's feelings. You're crazy. If you like me, come speak to me like a normal person, I replied. Well, that set her off because she charged at me. She was strong as expected because I was immediately on the ground. I couldn't see for crap, so I wailed on her. I pulled hard on what seemed to be pigtails, and she got off me, picking me up and throwing me onto the other side of the highway. I landed hard. She walked toward me victorious. That was it, I thought. Then the cavalry arrived. In force. No. Oh, Angie and I got the heck out of there as fast as we could. It all happened so quick. I barely had time to process the whole thing. I mean, holy crap. Patty is dead. Angie said she was driving us to her house just in case Patty somehow comes to my house. Though looking at the state she was in, she'd be lucky to even stand up after that. But wait, doesn't Angie have a boyfriend? If he's at her house, then that's gonna make things awkward. Who even is her boyfriend anyways? Well, Greg, here we are. So, is your boyfriend here? Oh, he's not. Well, we finally made it to her house and I asked if her boyfriend was home. Well, she said no. I get the feeling she doesn't have a boyfriend. There's like zero evidence he even exists. Anyways, Angie said I should sleep here for the night in case Patty comes back. So I guess I'm staying here. At least I don't have to worry about a creepy face looking at me through a window. No. Saturday. Remember how I said that I got the best sleep in weeks after sleeping in the basement? Well, ironically, yesterday was the absolute worst sleep I've ever had in my life. In fact, I'd barely even call it sleep. I stood awake nearly the entire night. The whole Patty situation made me sick to my stomach, and then her disfigured body was still a vision in my head. It was just horrid. I couldn't hear Angie anywhere, so I put on my clothes and left the room to look around for her. But I still couldn't find her. The house was extremely quiet, and I was kind of paranoid, not gonna lie. Yeah, Patty's probably dead, but I won't take no chances until I know for sure. Angie? You here? Ah! You're all mine now, Gregory. Relax, Greg. I won't hurt you. Patty thought she could have you, but she lost, and I won. I'll be right back, Greggy. See ya. Oh, flip. Should have known Angie was up to something as well. I got such creepy vibes yesterday when I went inside her house. Should have trusted my gut. Damn it. She locked me up in her basement and turned off the light as she left. Oh, great. I'm tied up in God knows what and it's pitch black. It won't be easy getting out of this mess. Ooh. Oh, never mind. Looks like it was a little easier than I thought. I left the basement and to my horror, Angie was still in the house. I did my best to sneak around and managed to get to the front door. I ran as far away from her house as possible in my underwear. Not my proudest moment. I don't think she saw me. Whew. I ran many blocks away, but I heard someone call my name really weakly. Greg! Oh no. Ah! Oh no. It was Patty. She didn't even look alive. Greg! She then just kept staring at me. She seemed too weak to do anything. And just like that, she dropped dead. I already got traumatized seeing her body back in the forest, but seeing her walk all around looking like a zombie, I'm going to need therapy after all of this. I went back home and the first thing I did was sleep. I needed it after all. I'd spent the whole day just running from these two psychotic girls. Sunday, I called Riley over the phone to explain the whole situation. As I mentioned before, Shrug didn't take me seriously, so I hoped Riley did. Sure enough, he was freaking out just by hearing the story, especially the way I described Patty. I swear, if he had seen her, he would have never been the same. I asked him if he can help me in dealing with Angie. Now, I don't really have a plan on how I'm going to do this. We spent a long time discussing ideas on the phone. Eventually, Riley suggested that we should invade the house and beat her up with a bat. I never knew Riley could get such violent ideas, but I'm glad he's willing to do this just for me. He's a true bro. Monday, 3 a.m. Well, tonight's the night of the plan. I told Riley we would meet at his house at 3 a.m. with our bats and with masks. When I got there, sure enough, he was there as planned with a bat at his side. Gotta say, he looked a little funny with that mask on. What, Greg? The two of us walked to Angie's house, which was pretty far away, so it took us 40 minutes to get there. When we finally did, both of us really had no clue what to do. I mean, how often do you plan a home raid? When we got to our house, we heard sobbing through the window. Must be Angie crying for me. Greg! We tried to open the window, but both of us didn't really know how to do that. So we ended up breaking the damn thing out, ruining the element of surprise. Go on, Riley. We decided now that we blew our cover, the smart thing to do would be to rush her. So we both quickly climbed inside to our horror and found the most absolute creepy thing I've ever seen. What the flip? Got some whole shrine for Greg. You'll be mine someday, Angie. Now I've seen a lot of weird things, foot fetishes, hand fetishes, but this is just too much. Never knew Angie was this crazy. Of all my friends, she was always the most normal one of them all. I guess people are good at hiding their secrets. Anyways, after seeing this, Riley and I both proceeded to beat the absolute crap out of that bee. Uh-oh. 1 hour of Greg and Riley beating up Angie with baseball bats later. I think she's dead now, Greg. Let's beat her up some more. You never know. But she looks like Glenn already. Damn. The end. Well, damn, this was a pretty interesting story.